Hey everybody, this is John from /bash, and today I am bringing you another malicious compliance Reddit video. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and ring that notifications bell so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, you are injured, can I help you? Let's jump right in. Another first aid related story, hurrah! Through all this occasion, I used malicious compliance to help people rather than inconvenience them, so it's a benevolent compliance, I guess. To fully understand the story, we have to understand the Good Samaritan laws in Canada. These laws can pretty much be the malicious compliance of a first aider's utility belt, as it allows us to help people who don't want to be helped. Good Samaritan laws offer legal protection to people who give reasonable assistance to those who are or whom they believe to be injured, ill, imperiled, or otherwise incapacitated. These laws in Canada protect you while you are performing first aid, and something that all volunteer first responders should be familiar with. However, there are lots of nuances involved in the Good Samaritan laws that you are required to follow. For example, much of the wording within the law is worded specifically so that you still require certification to perform the first aid. If you screw up while performing first aid and don't have proper certification, you can be held liable. Another instance where the Good Samaritan laws come into play is that in best interests of the plaintiff is commonly used. Some of the first things you do as a first aider when you arrive on a scene is ensure it is safe for you to be there, attract attention, and introduce yourself to the victim. Hi, my name is Cole Carmett and I'm a first responder. Can I help you? Get the heck out of my face, I don't need your help, says the person on the ground with an amputated leg and losing an extraordinary amount of blood. Now, in the law's eyes, that person has stated that it is in his best interest to lie on the ground and bleed out. There are some things that can overrule this, such as a medical alert bracelet with do not resuscitate, such as a guardian saying otherwise, but at that point my hands are tied. The most I can do is call an ambulance and possibly follow the person, but I cannot directly help that person. Unless, of course, the situation changes. If the person falls unconscious, you are good to go in most situations. Again, there are rare occasions that I personally never encountered where you still can't help the person, but I can't recall them. While the person is unconscious, even if they fell unconscious after telling you they don't want help, the law assumes it is in that person's best interest to help them. Keep in mind this event happened 10 years ago, so things may have changed since then. This is the part where the malicious compliance comes into play. In most situations, you know the person is only going to worsen his condition. You could continue to insist that you help him, or you could just wait for the inevitable to happen. Sometimes the latter is required to not worsen the situation or put yourself or others in harm's way. This leads to some rather interesting situations. The cast today is me, the first aider assisting me, the security of the park, the patient, and the girlfriend of the patient. Everything is recorded on tape since I have horrible bad handwriting. Rather than writing a patient care sheet, I would provide the paramedics with a voice recording of events. It's not as efficient as I need to find a chance to transfer the recording, but it's leagues better than my actual unreadable handwriting, especially under stress. A lot of the time, it's just as easy to stop by the hospital ambulance depot to pick up my recorder from them if I was alone, or have a bystander write the patient care sheet for me. As such, the events are fairly accurate despite this occurring 10 years ago. I keep all my recordings just in case something comes up. The scene was at a public campsite, some distance away from civilization. I was technically not on duty, I was on vacation, but someone called for help at one of the camp lots. I arrived and found a man probably late 20s at the base of a tree, blood coming from his head and a large gash down his arm. I asked the lady what happened, and she explained her boyfriend fell out of the tree while he was hanging up a tarp to protect from an upcoming storm. At this point, I realized two things. Possible head and spinal injury, secure the head immediately. Girlfriend is not on the list of people who can give me permission to assist this person. Another first aider showed up at this point, and I went to introduce ourselves. Hi, my name is Cole Carmett, and this is First Aider. We are first responders. Can we help you? No, I can handle this myself. Just let them help. I saw his card. No. Just let me lie here and collect myself. Okay, well, if it's okay with you, girlfriend, can we stay nearby in case things get worse? Of course. Girlfriend went and boiled some water for hot chocolate and coffee for me and first aider, giving us constant updates of patient's condition. Seems she had some first aid training too, but only the bare bones. First aider ran to use the public phone to call an ambulance. During the time first aider was gone, patient fell unconscious. I went up to him and asked the unconscious body, "Can I help you now?" No response. I start working. I showed the girlfriend how to secure the head properly as first aider was not back and started looking for more injuries. There was also a puncture wound on his hip where a branch was sticking in, but it was superficial compared to everything else. I started with the head as the injury seemed more severe and made a bandana out of a towel. 5 minutes later, there was a gut-wrenching scream. "What the frick are you doing?" I turn around and saw the patient had woken up. Girlfriend is trying to calm him down and stop his head from moving, but he was fuming. "I told you I didn't need any help. I'm fine." "You're not thinking straight." Insert lovey-dovey stuff here. "Sir, please stop moving. We don't know if your neck or spine is broken." "Okay, fine, I won't move, but take this damn scarf off my head. I look like a racist slur." Oh great, the last thing I wanted to deal with. "Are you sure? You are bleeding pretty badly." The patient started cussing and swearing. "I have my rights, I'll have you arrested and charged, etc., etc." So I removed the bandage. Blood started flowing freely from the wound again, and already his face was getting paler. It was at that point first aider arrived with security. "The ambulance will be roughly half an hour. How is—" "You called a fricking ambulance?" "Please, sir, calm down. You could aggravate your condition. This guy wasn't being picked up well on the recording." "Frick that, I'm not paying for that." "It doesn't cost anything for them to perform an examination on you." "You're not making me—" At that point, there is a brief pause in the recording and my voice comes over. "My name is Cole Carmit and I'm a medical first responder. Can I help?" "Can you hear me?" Patient attempted to violently move his head. He immediately fell unconscious. Restarting first aid. "First aider, can you secure the head? Security, can you get AED just in case? Girlfriend, in your first aid kit there was a booklet. Get that and copy down what I tell you." At that point, I guess I turned off the recording as that was the end of it. I remember the patient started fading into and out of consciousness, each time flying into a fit when he woke up. We just stood back and let him have his temper tantrum before he went back unconscious. When the ambulance arrived, he had been unconscious at that point for 10 minutes, so we thought he was down for the count. Come to find out, he was from the USA where medical bills were insane. Hence the reason why patient was so insistent on not getting help. He thought I was going to charge him for my first aid. I didn't even think that was a thing. I was just doing it because I knew how to. Me and the girlfriend stayed in contact via email for a short while. He was diagnosed with a concussion and with internal bleeding. There was a chance he was going to suffer permanent damage, but he managed to pull through. He later on apologized for his behavior, but I just brushed it off. You do stupid things while you're suffering from trauma, so I told him it wasn't his fault. I still have a card the pair sent as a thank you. "Thanks for being stubborn enough to save my life." I don't think I saved the guy's life, but I do think it could have been worse than it was. Story 2, don't piss off your farmer neighbor. It is going to cost you. So this didn't happen to me, but an attorney that I work with regularly as part of my job. He moved from a very high cost of living area to our rural community, sold his $2 million house, paid off and inherited from his grandparents, and bought 50+ acres with a huge house in a bedroom community that has a lot of dairy farms. He always used to say how it was much better living up here, both in terms of the lifestyle and monetarily, as his urban $2 million house had property taxes in excess of $40,000 per year. Now, in addition to the huge house, the property was mostly fields, 40-ish acres, and had a 10-acre or so woodlot. After he moved into his new house, the attorney was approached by his neighbor, one of the area dairy farmers. The farmer told the attorney how he had a handshake agreement with the former owner of the attorney's home property. The farmer would mow the fields for hay 2 to 3 times per year and would harvest a sustainable amount of trees out of the woodlot. In exchange, the former property owner got 10% of the chopped wood, which was more than enough to heat the house all year long without having to run the oil boiler for anything more than hot water. The farmer wanted to keep this arrangement going as it had worked out well for both parties for over a decade. The attorney thought the former owner was being taken advantage of and refused to do a handshake agreement, but told the farmer to give him a week to draw up a proper contract. The farmer was not overjoyed with making this out to be more than a gentleman's agreement, but agreed to come back the following week. The attorney decided that what would be fair was that the farmer should pay him $1,000 each time he mowed the fields for hay, since the farmer would feed the hay to his cows for free otherwise, completely ignoring that the farmer was using his own equipment and time to do the haying, and that the lawyer deserved 50% of the chopped wood, not 10%, or at least the 50% of the revenue the farmer got from selling the excess chopped wood. Again, ignoring the equipment and time invested of the farmer. As you can guess, the farmer refused. This all happened in late 2019, when the fields were rather bare and the supply of chopped wood for the house was full. Well, here comes 2020, and now the fields start looking like garbage because none of the other farmers will pay to hay the fields. In fact, after speaking with the first farmer, all of the other area farmers are unwilling to mow the fields unless the attorney pays them $1,000 per mowing. And of course, come wintertime, the attorney's woodpile is depleted and he has to use the oil boiler to heat his entire home, costing well over $300 per month in winter heating costs. Now we come to early 2021, tax prep season. The farmer, being a good and dutiful community-minded citizen, informs the town that he did not cultivate any of the attorney's land for the entirety of 2020, nor did he know of any other farmers who did. Well, as it turns out, this is a big deal, because in our state, farmland is assessed at a much lower value than residential property and additionally has a separate and lower tax rate. The attorney's land had previously been entirely zoned as farmland, except for the house and a few acres of lawn around it. Now, the town sent out an assessor and rezoned the entire 50-plus acres as residential, which more than tripled the taxable property value and imposed the residential tax rate rather than the much lower farm tax rate. The attorney was quite surprised and furiously told me and everyone else we work with all this past week how he's going to sue the town because they now expect him to pay $50,000 per year in property taxes. This is John from /bash. Please hit that like button to help with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you are new. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.